Hello besties, welcome to the 7 days of bookmas.
A bookmas.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the 7 days of bookmas. So when I was scheduling things for bookmas, I knew that I wanted to do a holiday vlog and I'm so excited to read some holiday books. I haven't really been super festive this year for any of the holidays, and if you know me, you know that fall and Halloween are like my absolute favorite times of the year, and I just was not in a festive mood. Coming into the winter holiday season, I've been trying to feel more festive. So I'm hoping that some holiday reads will get me into the festive spirit. I don't really know what possibly could get me into the festive spirit at this point, but we're gonna try. So this week I have a few romances on my list. I made a really big list of holiday romances, and so I'm excited to choose a couple from that list. One of them I'm for sure reading, and that is gonna be Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Leese. I actually haven't read anything by Chloe Leese yet. I really want to, and I think it's kind of a crime that I haven't yet. So I'm gonna be reading the Mistletoe Motive. This is supposed to be like an enemies to lovers. During the Christmas season, the two main characters are trying to save the bookstore that they work for, meanwhile also trying to navigate the intense tension between the two of them that borders on hating each other. Then I have like a quintessential classic Christmas read. I guess this is on so many lists as a Christmas book. I've seen the movies. I love the movies. They're actually comfort movies for me, and in my mind I don't associate the movies or the story as a Christmas read, but I think that's kind of silly because the book actually opens on Christmas, and that's Little Women. So I have actually never read Little Women, but I've seen the movies a million times. Like I said, they are definitely comfort movies for me, and I really love the 2019 version. Greta just does something for me as a director, so I love that movie. What's also really fun is that my patrons and I are gonna be watching Little Women this weekend, so I would like to get through Mistletoe Motive throughout this week, and then by the weekend I want to start Little Women because we are gonna be watching the movie on Saturday, so I would love to read the book close to when we are watching the movie. Those are my two priority reads, but if I do end up fitting in a third one, I would really love to read Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. And this one in particular really called out to me because it really reminds me of the premise of People We Meet on Vacation, and I was so surprised at how much I loved People We Meet on Vacation. I think at this point it's one of my favorite Emily Henry books. I haven't read everything by Emily Henry, but that one is like in my top 2, and this gives me that same vibe because the two main characters always meet during the holiday season every single year, and they fly home together, and so it's one of those situations where like they're only really seeing each other at a specific time of the year every single year, and they probably have like intense feelings for each other, but because they only see each other every once in a while, it's easy to like let that be in the background, you know? And that reminds me of People We Meet on Vacation. I think the only difference is with People We Meet on Vacation, they are best friends in theory, and just life kind of separated them, and I think in this book they really are only friends when they have this plane ride together. I don't know if they communicate outside of that. So that being said, I actually have started Mistletoe Motive. I am not far into it and I'm already loving it. I love it so much. The writing is so fun. The banter between our two main characters, impeccable. I especially love that our main character Gabi is autistic and demisexual, and she talks very openly about that in the story and with her friends, and like how she has to navigate relationships, not only romantically but even platonically, how she has to navigate those relationships and how she doesn't read cues the same way that other people do, and that she really doesn't know when somebody is into her or flirting with her. And honestly, that speaks so deeply to me, and I'm really appreciating this book, and it's making me so excited to get into the Bergman Brothers series. And I don't really want to know, but I am curious if any of these characters in this novella like overlap with other characters in the Bergman series. So I'll be excited to start the Bergman Brothers series next year and see if I like pick up those Easter eggs. I've been doing so much admin this morning. It's Tuesday, it's my late day at work, so I've been doing a lot of admin, but because I've been doing admin, I've been listening to Mistletoe Motive, which I started yesterday, and I finished it today, and I loved it. I loved it. Oh my God, my camera is about to die. Hold on. Okay, we're back. I finished it just like 20-30 minutes ago. This is for sure 4.5 stars. Chloe Leese is definitely gonna be one of those authors that I just need to check out. I need to check more out by her. So I think I kind of described this, but basically we have two main characters. We have Gabi and we have Andrew. Is his name Andrew? Am I getting mixed up with the guy that I'm listening to right now? Because I'm also listening to another holiday romance with a man. No, his name is Jonathan. So anyway, it is following Gabi and Jonathan, and they are co-managers of this bookshop, and this bookshop is kind of going under. Basically, they have the holiday season to save it. Otherwise, they're gonna shut their doors for good. And Gabi and Jonathan have a very contentious relationship, and they often are butting heads in the way that they want to manage the store and what they think is going to be successful at saving the store. So they end up entering into this competition with one another about how they're going to save the store. So they're trying to outsell each other. So Jonathan is trying to sell more mysteries, thrillers, and horrors because he thinks that's what's going to sell. And Gabi thinks that it's romances and like holiday romances because people in the holiday spirit are more inclined to pick up like a holiday romance or a holiday feel-good book. And during this process, they're kind of getting to know each other a little bit more, and it's turning out that they might be a little attracted to one another. But in Gabi's personal life, she's actually talking to this guy that she met on Reddit, and they've been talking for the last year, and they've decided that they're gonna meet up in person after the holidays just to see what happens between them. She has pretty intense feelings, but like I mentioned before when I was talking about this book, she is demisexual and autistic. So she talks about not being able to take cues of flirting. She doesn't really know when people are flirting with her. She doesn't really know when people like her. So she's kind of guessing that this guy on Reddit also likes her. So despite her feelings that she's starting to develop for Jonathan, she's really holding out for this guy on Reddit, and it becomes very complicated. I think this book kind of goes where you're expecting it to go, and you do only get Gabi's perspective on things. This isn't dual narration, which honestly helps, I think, this story the most that it's not dual narration. I usually prefer a dual narrative in a romance, but I understand the choice to not have it as a dual romance in here. I have just unlocked something as well. I really, really like a bookstore romance. I didn't think I would, and that's only because I don't really love books about books. So for example, like The Starless Sea, because it's a book within a book and it's telling stories and it's all about storytelling, I thought that I would love it and I didn't, and I've realized that those stories don't really work for me generally. But this, a bookstore romance, worked so well for me. So I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for more bookstore romances, but this was just such a feel-good time. And it definitely felt very Christmassy, especially because Gabi is a huge lover of the holiday season, and so she's always talking about the different traditions that she has surrounding Christmas. So it for sure puts you in the holiday spirit. And it's also kind of funny because Jonathan is very much a Grinch about the holidays. So she kind of loves like rubbing it in his face how much she loves the holidays. So I thought that dynamic was very cute and really funny as well. Especially because I've been both people. I have been the Grinch and I have been the one very excited about the holidays. This didn't necessarily put me in the holiday spirit, but it made me very happy and it's very cozy. At this point, I don't think anything is gonna get me in the holiday spirit. Hello besties. So I've just gotten back from work and it was a no good, terrible, rotten day. And that's just because people were peopling, and I am now in a much better place because I'm home and it's my anniversary. And somebody sent me some book mail and I couldn't wait to open it. So I just opened it like a rapscallion, and fourth book in the Blood Grace series. I don't know how many books are going to be in here, but this is the fourth one. Do you know who got me this? Jenny, one of my patrons, Jenny, because we recently buddy read, and by buddy read I mean that her and Rose traditionally buddy read it, where they were actually giving each other updates, and I read it in like 2 listens while unpacking books and gave no updates because I'm horrible at buddy reading, apparently. Something I've learned about myself in 2023. But she got me this. Thank you so much, Jenny. Also, I wanted to actually showcase a few other books that were sent to me over this week, but I haven't filmed any unboxing. So I'm just gonna show you these raw, okay? So from Elizabeth, I got The Curse of Saints, which I'm very excited about. I'm a little confused if this is just traditional fantasy or if this is a fantasy romance. So I'm not 100% sure if this is like a fantasy with some romance, or if this is a traditionally published fantasy romance. It's a fantasy romance because it's romancereaders.com. Got it. Cool. Well, answered my own question. Anyway, fantasy romance. Very excited about it. I randomly saw it in Barnes & Noble one day, was really intrigued by the cover, read the synopsis, almost bought it, didn't because I've been trying to restrain myself. And now I have it and I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And lastly, Nikki got me the hardcover of The Ruin of Kings, which I am so excited about. I actually really love these covers. They're fairly simple, but I just love them for whatever reason. And I love the feel of the covers. And I am so excited about this series. I think by the time you're watching this video, I will have already put out series I want to start, like my series check-in. And I've put out my 24 and 24, I believe. So this is on both of those lists. I'm absolutely getting to this at the beginning of the year. I'm actually buddy reading it with Jenny. So funny that she sent me that book and I'm doing this haul, but I'm buddy reading it with Jenny. And I think Hanan is also joining this buddy read. We do a lot of chaotic buddy reading in Patreon, honestly. Like I probably wouldn't have read half of what I've read last year if it weren't for just random buddy reads. But I am intentionally buddy reading this and I'm very excited and I will be giving updates. And thank you so much, Nikki, for this beautiful cover. So now Jared and I are gonna go celebrate our anniversary. We're gonna eat some pho. We're going to have dessert. We're going to go to the bookstore. First and foremost, the most important part of the night is the bookstore because the bookstore helps my mental health. Anyway, we're gonna go celebrate like being together. Wasn't planning on starting this one soon because I really need to get through Little Women, but I was doing a bunch of chores and I was like, oh, I need an audio. And like, yeah, I could have listened to the audio of Little Women. I started Holiday Romance. It is so cute. It is really, really giving people we meet on vacation. I know I mentioned in the intro of this vlog that the reason I was interested in this was because the synopsis was kind of giving me people we meet on vacation, but I was also hoping it would be like my second chance at reading something similar to You Again, which was something I DNF'd during the fall. It's a really popular romance. You've probably heard of it. I can pop up a picture here. Yeah, I ended up DNFing that just because I wasn't really feeling the love interest, but I love the concept of like people meeting up throughout the years and having sort of a second, third, fourth chance encounter, because Molly, our main character, is best friends with this girl who I don't remember her name, but she's dating Andrew, who is the love interest in this book. And this friend calls Molly like right before she's about to board a plane and she's like, oh, can I borrow your dress? Then the girl proceeds to say, I would like it for a date for tomorrow. And Molly is like, oh, are you going on a date with Andrew? I really like him for you. And the friend is like, oh no, this other guy and I are meeting up. We kind of slept together the other day and I'm really feeling him and I've told you that I thought he was really cute. And Molly's like, well, did you break up with Andrew? I'm confused. I thought you guys were together and you were like really feeling him. And the friend is like, well, I haven't broken up with him yet, but I'm going to. And Molly is just so frustrated by this. And so she's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you do that. Also, I'm about to board a plane, so I can't deal with this. And they hang up. Turns out that Andrew and Molly are on the same plane, seated next to each other, okay? And then Andrew's like, oh my God, you're so-and-so's friend. And she's like, yeah, hey. So Molly's feeling super awkward, but Andrew's like really friendly and he loves Christmas and he's like really excited to see his family. And so they're chatting about that. And then Andrew gets a call from this girl. Molly has like a really awkward situation where she like answers it and then hangs it up for him. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, I was gonna take that call. That's my girlfriend. And Molly's like, oh, my bad. I just get really nervous on flights because she knows that the girl's about to break up with him. And then the friend texts him the breakup. And so he's suspicious that Molly must have known, and that's why she was acting weird. So he doesn't talk to her for the entirety of the plane ride, and they're going from Chicago to Ireland. So it's a pretty long plane ride. And then the next year they happen to be seated next to each other, and he completely ignores her and asks somebody else to switch seats with him. And then they meet up in the third year, and the third year he basically wants to put it behind him, and they start to become friends. So now we're in the present day, and it's been like 10 years of them always meeting up during flights. But the one thing I wasn't sure about when I was first talking about this book, if they were friends outside of being on these flights together, and it turns out that they are. But because their lives are so busy, they don't actually hang out physically and in person very often. So this is like the most in-person time that they get together when they go fly home to Ireland. But they like text and call and FaceTime a lot. On top of that, the really interesting and fun dynamic here is that Andrew's family is very tight-knit. They love Christmas. They love celebrating Christmas. He loves Christmas. He loves going home to see his family. And Molly does not have a close relationship with her family. As a matter of fact, she says at one point, like, they can go months without checking in on each other and like being totally okay with that. And so she's kind of grinchy about the holidays. She's not the biggest fan of them. She doesn't really like traveling home. She really loves living in Chicago, and she loves, for the most part, her life in Chicago. So it's a fun dynamic because she does get excited about Christmas for him, but she doesn't care about it for her. So on the specific 10-year flight, there happens to be a snowstorm and it cancels their flight, and now they're on this wild adventure to try to get home. And it's been really fun so far. There is only one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, and that's our main character is a big crier, and so she cries her way out of something, I guess, and I hated that part. But otherwise, the banter has been A+ for me. It's made me cackle. I've laughed out loud so much at this book, which I don't usually laugh out loud that much at books. And I really love these two characters' dynamics. So I'm gonna imagine that this is gonna be a really great time, especially when we get to the point when they're probably gonna admit their feelings. But I'm really looking forward to it. And I think there is something particularly smart about putting a holiday book in an airport setting, because so much of the holidays for so many of us is traveling to see family. So it definitely feels like the holidays when I'm reading this book, simply because I travel home too. So it's like the chaotic energy of being in an airport and like trying to get to your destination alongside hundreds and hundreds of other people, really giving that holiday vibe. Hi, I just randomly came into the living room, and in my living room I can see our front porch, and there were 2 packages on the porch. So I'm gonna open them with you. I didn't order anything, so they're likely gifts, which no one ever has to get me anything. I know that doesn't need to be said, but I always feel like I need to say that because I'm just always so like surprised and thankful when people send me things. So anyway, happy holidays, Steph. I'm so glad we are friends, and I hope you love this book as much as I did. From Sarah, from Sarah's Shelves. Thank you so much, Sarah. I haven't even seen it yet, but I know I'm gonna love it. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Every time I pick this up at the bookstore, I'm like, I just need to get it. I have not read Icebreaker, but something about an adult camp speaks so deeply to me. When this came out, I was like, oh my God, please, another summer camp romance. Please don't let me down. Anyway, thank you so much, Sarah. Oh my God, it's wrapped. Amanda, I'm so glad that you joined the Patreon too. Thank you so much. Oh my God, even the book is wrapped. How cute. The paper. Oh, a taste of iron and gold. Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. So I have been meaning to get to this one forever. Erin from Book No Busy, she read this and loved it, and she told me that she knows that I will love it, and I ended up getting like a Kindle sample of it, and I read the sample and I really, really enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Amanda. I am really excited to pick this up. If you want to buddy read it, you know, just let me know. We're always doing buddy reads chaotically in the Discord. Just say the word. Anyway, thank you so, so much. Again, never have to send me anything, but I'm always so thankful. Look who's here with us. Say hey to your fans. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have been in editing hell. That's a horrible way of putting it, because I actually do enjoy the process of editing, but I've been trying to edit Bookmas videos and the Goodreads vlog, and so I've just been editing for the last like 2.5 hours. I finally finished the Goodreads vlog. I did finish one Bookmas video. I'm about to go into another one. I'm definitely gonna try to read some more today. I have reading sprints later, but I don't really have anything else to update you with. Hi friends, so I have a bunch of updates for you. Basically, I got a couple packages. I got my Target package and I got some books. I went to the bookstore yesterday and then I also started Little Women. And so far I'm 218 pages in. I think what's interesting about this versus the movie is that if you've seen the 2019 adaptation, it has a back and forth between the past and the present. You mainly are seeing this through our main character Jo, where she's on her way home. She's traveling back home because her sister Beth is sick. And so a lot of what she's remembering on her travels home just flashes back to a past time. This book is actually told in two parts. So it's the past, I guess, in the movie, and then the present in the movie. That's how they did the past and the present. So part one is when all of the girls are younger and they're living together, and then part two is when they're older and where their lives have kind of taken them. And much like the movie, there are so many moments that like make me tear up. There's so many moments that are like really quotable. I love the point they're trying to make here about family and like finding your family and what family kind of looks like, especially sisterhood, but even more so like the struggles of women and women trying to find a place in the world, because Jo very much doesn't want to get married. She doesn't really care about dating. In many ways, to me, she's coded as asexual because she has no desire to be romantic. She just wants to live out her wildest dreams, which is to be a writer. And then you have her other sisters who have like different ambitions, and they're all very creative, and they are creative together, and they fiercely love each other, but they fight so dirty sometimes. Especially Amy and Jo, those two, very contentious, and where their story is going, it's just going to become even more contentious. But I love that the mom in this, she admits to the fact that she has a lot of anger. She has a lot of anger for her country. She has a lot of anger about her life, about being poor, and how her husband is away fighting in this war and he gets sick, and she's caretaking for not only the entirety of their children, but also she takes it upon herself to care for the town folk as well. And so she has so much anger, but she's always telling the girls like, don't let the sun set on your anger. It's almost like the whole mentality of don't go to bed angry type of thing, and that's not possible for a lot of us. But I think there are so many like interesting lessons in here, and I really love the quotable moments. I know that I have constantly heard this is a holiday book. I'm not sure that I would say that. Like, it does open on Christmas, and I know we're gonna get a few other Christmas scenes in here, but I'm not sure that I would consider it a holiday book. I don't know that it's like something that's ever gonna put me in the festive spirit, but I do really enjoy this book, and I enjoy the vibes of it, and I like the domesticity of it all and the relationship between these women and how fiercely they love each other. The interesting character in here is Laurie. He is the one, if you know, you know. So for me, obviously, I only know him from the movies. I'm not gonna lie, I think Timothée Chalamet is so goofy. He is so goofy, like especially in Little Women, I feel like he doesn't fit. But Laurie is such a background character in this book. Like, he's not really as present as the movie makes it out to be. Like, it's really about these women. Obviously, it's called Little Women. We know this, but he seems so much more prevalent in the movies than he is in the books. Like, sometimes I forget he even exists, and I forget there's gonna be some drama surrounding that. Anyway, I'm having a really good time, and I don't often read classics, but I really do enjoy the like domesticity of it all. Like the very just, it's about these characters. There's really nothing too big happening plot wise. It's not plot heavy. It's literally about character interactions. It's about character personality and how they love each other and the sisterhood and about women. So I'm really having a good time. I find myself continuing to want to listen to it. So I might finish this before I finish Holiday Romance. I don't know. Okay, so I went to the bookstore and I picked up two books, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I actually don't own this. I used to have the older copies, and then I ended up unhauling them. I don't really remember why, but I did. And as you may or may not know, I'm in the House of Massalong, where we are reading all of Sarah J Maas's works before the third Crescent City comes out. This is on the Roomies Digest channel, and then Sarah from Sarah Shelves and Catherine from Catherine's Affray are also co-hosting, and we are just about to finish Kingdom of Ash. So then we are going into A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm really looking forward to my reread. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really love the first book in the series, but the second book is such a comfort book for me. I like actually will go out of my way to reread it without reading the rest of the trilogy. I'm looking forward to my reread, interested to see how I feel about it. Not looking forward to certain characters in here, but And then because I read Mistletoe Motive and you know that I loved it, I ended up getting Only When It's Us by Chloe Lees. So this is the first one in the Bergman Brothers series. And yes, Christine has let me borrow all of her copies. But I saw this, I love the cover, and I was like, I'm just gonna get it because I know I'm gonna love the series. Really looking forward to this because I loved Mistletoe Motive. I don't know if this was her debut novel or not. Anyway, those are the only 2 books that I got. But I put in a Target order because like all of my skincare ran out at the same time because I'm stupid. I'm talking like all of my skincare other than face wash and some face lotion. I've said this before, but I am obsessed with skincare. Really love skincare. I am a skincare girl over makeup type of girl. I've basically simplified all of the skincare in my life and like tried to get brands that I think are nice brands but also aren't super expensive because I can't afford it. Let's just be real. In this economy, can't afford it. So this is why I love Target, because I have found a bunch of skincare brands there that I think are pretty high quality brands, but they're affordable-ish. So I got the vitamin C serum. Always use vitamin C. I use vitamin C every day. I got their retinol cream serum. So I got the Smoother Glycolic Acid body wash by Naturium. It's in this bottle. There's like a little pump on top. I have their oil body wash that I really love, and so I wanted to try the Glycolic Acid body wash because it gently exfoliates. In a funny turn of events, I ended up getting their oil cleansing balm, the one that's actually in a tub, and I actually don't like it as much as I like their cleansing oil. You're not gonna be able to see that, but the cleansing oil actually just gets the makeup off better than the cleansing balm. So I like this cleansing oil enough to get it, but I will say at the pharmacy, cleansing balm is chef's kiss. I really love NYX like eyebrow stuff, so I got an eyebrow pencil and the eyebrow Thick It, Stick It, the brow mascara, green concealer to get rid of some redness. And then I got the Kind Tint by Pacifica, and I got the Butter Believe It foundation plus concealer by the Physicians Formula. It's these 2. Package that hasn't arrived just has 2 different sunscreens in it. There's a mascara, there's a toner, and there's an essence. Naturium has like a hyaluronic essence and I love it. So you put it on after your toner. It's so hydrating. I also love their hyaluronic acid, but I randomly had a new bottle of it. So I finally have all my skincare back in stock, and maybe my skin will stop looking like shit. Home from work, which hence the lighting, but I ordered the cutest thing in the world and I just needed to pop on and show you. Listen, I don't think you're ready for how cute this is, okay? It's for Goose specifically because he really likes beds. He really likes cat beds and he likes to bury himself in things. I got him a frog bed. When it lays down, this will go up more. This is a frog bed. This was a need, not a want. I'm just saying. It is the middle of winter. Is it the middle of winter? I wouldn't say it's the middle of winter, but it's winter. But peach juice and unsweetened black iced tea. I haven't stopped drinking it since like June, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. But also LA is like in a perpetual state of summer, which is very depressing for me, but also like it could be worse. I shouldn't be complaining. So hi, I finished Little Women and I also finished Holiday Romance, and I enjoyed both of them. My experience with Little Women overall positive, but there are some negatives. Also, I think the fact that I watched the movie and then literally finished the movie 30 minutes later started the book wasn't the best idea, because all the way through the 2019 adaptation follows this story very closely. All of the things I said before remain. Like I really did enjoy some of the quotable moments in here. I really enjoyed how fiercely they loved each other and the sisterhood. I think Jo's overall storyline is a little bit disappointing just based on how we've come to know her as a character. But overall, I wish that Jo would have gotten a different outcome in this book. The other thing that's a little bit jarring about this book is the backdrop is the Civil War and it's never addressed. We never really hear anything or get any insight on the characters' beliefs about slavery. So I think it was a choice choice to set your book during a specific time period and like never address that time period. It's something we don't even talk about when the dad is around and the dad is serving in the army. In terms of my enjoyment of like the characters and their plot lines, I had an enjoyable time, but there were things that like really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't think I'll ever have the desire to revisit this book. I'm glad that I gave it a shot because I have watched and loved the movies for so long at this point. Also, I could argue that this is not a holiday book. Like, there are Christmas scenes. Obviously the book opens on Christmas. There are a few other scenes throughout the years that happen during Christmas. So maybe it's considered a holiday book because of how many times we see Christmas, but like, it's not really a holiday book. Sorry, my mail person literally just knocked at the door and I have a package and I already know what it is because my bestie Erin, she was trying to convince me to get a reading journal, and then she decided that for my Christmas present, she was gonna get me a reading journal and we were gonna be reading journal twins. And it's here! The little strawberry. The little strawberry is everything to me. It's everything to me. So yeah, it's just like a little reading journal. It has a little habit tracker and mood tracker, which I'm gonna try to utilize more this year. This year, one of my personal goals is to actually be better about using my planner because I need to. Okay, I'm sorry, I found the strawberry one. I love strawberries. Look at it. I cannot wait for the July one. That's just giving me motivation to use it. Oh my God, there's mushrooms. Okay. I can't. Okay, so moving on. The last book that I read for this vlog was Holiday Romance. So I gave you a synopsis earlier and it sort of takes off from there where they are now on this wild adventure to try to get to Ireland, and they go through these many different forms of travel to get there. And through that travel, they start to realize that they have feelings for each other, and these have been like long buried feelings that are now sort of coming to the surface, but may have just always been there. And there was a second, like midway through this book, where I was like, oh, maybe I don't love this as much as I think that I am. But once they get to Ireland, it all takes off in a way where I was like, okay, I'm back on board with this. So overall, I ended up giving this a 4 stars. One of the things though that really holds this book together for me was that the banter was top tier the entirety of this book. Like, they had really great banter between each other, but also both of the characters are extremely sarcastic. So I loved seeing them sarcastic with other people and with each other. And then when you meet the families, that was also like a really sweet moment. I loved when they met each other's families and the families are like, yeah, we know you because we've heard your whole life story over the last 10 years. And Andrew's family is especially very sweet. But I also really liked the journeys that Andrew and Molly are on individually. Molly is realizing that she hates her job and she's really unhappy, and she has a very strained relationship with her family and she doesn't like to go home. And it's interesting because once she goes on this trip, you already know that she's thinking about quitting her job and like finding a completely different career. And then for Andrew, he's actually on a sobriety journey. So it's something that we're kind of learning about, and we're learning about why he did it and what steps he's taken to get to this point. And I really liked their overall journeys, and especially the way that they interact with their families in regards to these journeys and these growing moments. And that's kind of a perfect romance for me in some ways. It's kind of when two characters are going through their own life path and like trying to grow from something or heal from something, whatever it may be, but they're doing it on their own. And then they just happen to come together at the right time. And it's not like the healing journey or the growth that they make in their life is because of each other, but each individual in the relationship wants to continue to be better for the other person as well as themselves. So I really love that. Also, this very much continued to feel like a Christmassy book, which was perfection. So yeah, overall this blog, I had a really great time. I'm so glad I was exploring some holiday books outside of just romance, even if it wasn't like the #1 hit I wanted it to be. And even though it didn't really feel that holiday-ish, I still had a really fun time, and I'm excited to kick off Bookmas. I will actually be leaving soon to go see my family, and I am looking forward to seeing them. I'm just not looking forward to the whole traveling part of it all. I do like traveling, but during this time of year, not so much. So I'm having a little bit of anxiety about it, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this vlog. If you have any holiday romances, or better yet, if you have any bookstore romances that you think that I would really love your recommendations. And if you've made it this far and have nothing else to say, please feel free to leave like a snowman or some snowflakes. And I will actually be talking to you tomorrow for the second day of Bookmas. Bye, friends.